Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah, coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who is wisdom, who is the Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I pray that the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past, in order to understand the events that are currently happening on the earth, so we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. Brethren, we're going to get into some pretty more mind-blowing information today. And we're going to understand how, if you want to actually make a lot of these prophecies come to fruition, we must be, you can't be stuck in the parameters that the Gentiles have set for us. The Gentiles have given us the parameters of truth. They said all truth is in the 66 or 80 books. All truth is in the way that they interpret the books. Everything happened over there, and nothing was found over here. The Gentiles made many decrees that were a lot of lies. And our people till today still follow those decrees and don't think for themselves. Let's take a look here. Before we get into the book, we're going to get into the Medieval Empires book and one of the Christopher Columbus books. Here a little, there a little. How precept on precept. It even works with these other books, and how they're going to connect with each other. Okay, and how they always make it seem as if we need to prove things to them. Let's go to Jeremiah 16 and 19 real quick. It says, Jeremiah 16 and 19, O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. See, how are you going to actually expose what the Gentiles are doing if you're stuck only following the parameters that they set for you? If you still talk about how every single thing is in the Bible and you can't read anything else, you're stuck in the box that the Gentiles have set up for us. And you're working so hard to keep all of us in that box. You don't want us to actually get out of that box and realize all the lies that we've been told. And that's why even still today, I still have people, making videos or talking about how this is not the land of the Most High, with no proof whatsoever. They don't document anything. Only thing that they have is, well, that's what the Gentiles told me. The Gentiles said that our land is over there. So therefore, Daddy said I can't look anywhere else. So Big Judah, you're wrong. Even though I'm bringing out all this other information and all these other books, thanks to the fact that we're doing this together as a family. I didn't get all these. Only reason I got all these books and all this information is because the nation has supported me, and we're all working together as we're supposed to be. That has nothing to do with me. That has to do with the fact that the Most High wanted us to work together to bring this information out. And that's exactly what we're about to do, and what we've been doing, and what we're going to continue to do until the wheels fall off, right? So like I said, so if you're still stuck with only the Bible and you seem to think you can prove everything everything happened over there in the so-called Middle East, you're about to get your mind blown again today with some more of this information. But see, many people won't accept it because they're stuck, only listening to what the Gentiles have told them. And as if, these people have lied about everything that has happened to us in the last 400 to 500 years. You don't think they have any problem lying about what they've been doing for the last a few hundred years, faking history, faking events, faking where things have been going on. But see, we still got a lot of these people who are just still cooning for the Gentiles, even in this walk. That's why you got to be very careful who you listen to, because many people have ulterior motives to the things that they are, for what they're doing. Now, let's get into this video real quick. When we went to school and we learned history, a lot of it was just rote memorization. They just wanted us to memorize dates, memorize their theories, and they would present their theories as facts. And if anyone else had any other opinion, they were just scoffed at, yelled at, made to look like an idiot, just like they tried to do with me when I started learning about this being our homeland. Like I said, there was plenty of other people that believed the same thing way before I did. I said so, but that's the pretty much what they do. Is they try to make it seem as if you are crazy. They try to attack your people, your family, your credibility. They don't ever deal with the facts. But when we were in college, high school, remember history could be very boring for many of us because it was just memorizing, European dates and European facts. Now we understand why they forced that European history. That was a requirement a lot of times because they want us to memorize their dates, memorize their information. But when you do a little bit deeper, you realize that there's very little to no, facts that substantiate many of the things that they've been saying. We're going to jump into the medieval empire of the Israelites. Okay? What you have to understand is, just like the northern kingdom had their special places, their places, that was special to them, southern kingdom had their special cities and special things that were special to them. The Gentiles had the same thing. They had their places that had like a special significance to them. So see, when they say holy city might be something different to the northern kingdom. The holy city might be something different to the southern kingdom. But the holy city it will definitely be something different to the Gentiles. They had their holy city as well. But see, when they say things or they put stuff in the Bible, we assume that those holy cities were all talking about Jerusalem, the place of the Israelites. But that's not the case. You see, and they know that, but they didn't let us know that. So when they're talking about the holy city, we're thinking about Jerusalem, the southern kingdom cities, and this, and that. You're going to realize that that's not what they were referring to. But they just allowed us to think that, oh, yeah, Jerusalem, yes. It's the same place, as what's in the scriptures. How many times have these people followed anything in the scriptures? Never. All holidays that are in the scriptures, they don't follow. Laws that they have in the scriptures, they don't follow. So then it would make sense that cities that were important to the Most High's chosen people would not be the same ones. They don't care about those either. Now watch. This is from Medieval Empires, okay? Medieval Empire of the Israelites. This is page 245. We're going to read first paragraph right there. Who are such Greeks for the Latin? Okay. That is those who practice the faith according to Roman law, Catholics. Okay, so they're following Roman law, not the Bible, not the law of the Israelites. Okay, the Greeks are traitors and murderers. Loyalty is alien to them, and they are worse than Jews. Okay, like they might not like the Greeks, but actually they did not like the Greeks at all here. Okay, the Greeks are the enemies of the Lord. Robert de Clary, the conquest of Constantinople. Here it is, the religious justification of the crusade of the Latin Crusaders to Constantinople. But you see, an attack on the city is considered a deadly sin. Supposedly, according to a decree of the Council of Narbonne in the year of the Great Schism of 1054, it was decided to consider an attack on Constantinople as the shedding of the blood of Christ himself. Pay attention. It is not Jerusalem, but Constantinople. So you see, they took Jerusalem, okay, the city of the Israelites, and applied it to their city that they wanted to consider the holy city. And that holy city was Constantinople. So many times they're using, scripture, and it's referring to Jerusalem, but they've taken it and referred it to Constantinople. Now continue right there. Constantinople is in general Christ's city. Here is a mass of holy relics the medieval authors think. Okay, so we already know that with the medieval authors, how they've been lying about everything. So this is what they think is in their holy city. Among them are the vivifying cross, the tip of the spear that pierced Christ, the blood of the Son of God, the nails, the shroud with the image of Christ's face burnt, the marble pillar to which Jesus was tied before punishment, the crown of thorns, okay, the head of our Monsignor John the Baptist. So wrote De Clary, who thought as a true Franc of John as his own saint and not as an alien. Okay, so right there, they are, taking our scriptures and applying it to their cities. They were not talking about Jerusalem. They were not talking about, Israel that is over there today. Now, it's kind of funny that, you got all these people sitting there saying that for sure those were our lands over there. But see, the land over there wasn't even set up until 1948. You got to get that in your head now. It was not set up as a city until 1948. These guys are talking about Constantinople way before that being the holy city. So for a long time, they had no problem with not having a holy city there at all. For supposedly thousands of years, it wasn't over there. But then all of a sudden, they just came up with it in 1948. But before that, they were referencing Constantinople as Jerusalem. So you see how, things are not as they seem. There's more stuff I'm going to bring out, because I'm just going to make this one a quick one. Just because this is really important. That, in 1054 or whenever they did it, they changed the holy city to Constantinople. It was not talking about the Holy Land that you see today. So for people to sit here and act like, for sure everything was right there in that little strip of land, you're fooling yourself. These people know that it wasn't over there. So earlier, here it says 1054. I mean, they might have done it in the 1400s, 1500s, because that's when they actually went over there, is the 1400s, and to Constantinople. But the thing is, the whole point is on this is that they made Constantinople their Jerusalem. So just because you're reading the Bible and we start to think about, it referring to the Holy Land of the Israelites, they had a totally different meaning. And they made all these laws right here. In 1054, it was decided to consider an attack on Constantinople as a shedding of the blood of Christ himself. And that's very important. Pay attention. It is not Jerusalem, but Constantinople. So all you people who are sitting here making all these videos talking about how for sure these aren't the lands over here, but for sure they're over there in the so-called Middle East. Why don't you prove it? Because right here is showing you that they didn't even consider that area over there sacred. They considered Constantinople sacred. And they made decrees about it. And they make a lot of decrees about a lot of things that are not true. So now, let's go to this book. Let's connect it now. Christopher Columbus, his life and discovery of the light of his prophecies. I'm not even sure if you can even get this book anymore. But the last time I saw it, it was like about $1,000 for this book. And it's like I said, it's maybe 100 and something pages. So it's not, you can expose a lot of lies using this book. But as far as like getting good information, no, that's not good. That's not what it is. But you can see how they twist things. Okay. And see, I read this before, and I've done this on another video before. I read this page before, but now it connects with the medieval empire of the Israelites and how they twisted this holy city and made it Constantinople. Okay, page 104. The great city of Constantinople, gateway to the Orient, fell into the hands of the Ottoman Turks in 1453. This conquest provoked the search for new routes to Asia and awakened longings for a new crusade against the Muslims in order to liberate the holy city of Jerusalem from the infidels. See how it just switched? It just switched from, they're talking about Constantinople, then the last sentence right there, and that last part says, to liberate the holy city of Jerusalem from the infidels. So when these people are talking about Jerusalem, they're talking about Constantinople. They're not talking about the Holy Land. So all you people who keep on saying that those are the lands over there, and that's the Holy Land right there, and that's Jerusalem right there. See, when they've been over there, they didn't consider that area to be the Holy Lands. They're talking about Constantinople. And they made decrees. Remember? They made those decrees right there, right there, decided to consider an attack on Constantinople as a shedding of the blood of Christ himself. Pay attention, it is not Jerusalem, but Constantinople. So you go to that book, and then you go here, and it's exactly the same thing. So they were not considering the area over there, the Holy Lands. They were not considering that that was Jerusalem over there at that time. So before you keep on making all these videos with no evidence, no proof, I would suggest you keep your mouth shut and you go study. So, or else you're going to be in the same boat as those Gentiles, saying that our fathers have inherited lies. You see, the Most High is going to have to bring people out, to expose the truth to not only our people but also to the Gentiles, that their father has inherited lies, and our people who are hand in hand with them are continuing to just propagate those lies, just like the Gentiles are. Now take a look at the scriptures that they use here. Okay, he's using Psalms 91 in the book of prophecies. Okay, oh God, the nations have invaded your inheritance. They have defiled your holy temple. They have reduced Jerusalem to rubble. Well, we know that they're talking about Constantinople. Next one. They burned your sanctuary to the ground. They defile the dwelling place of your name. Psalm 74:7. Not real Jerusalem, but Constantinople. For you took my silver and my gold and carried off my finest treasures to your temples. You sold the people of Judah and Jerusalem. Okay, that you might send them far from their homeland. They're not talking about, the real Jerusalem. They're talking about Constantinople. Okay, let me see here. And you guys can read the bottom part right there. But like I said, now you understand that they did not worry about Jerusalem. They were not worried about the Holy Land until 1948. That's when they established all that over there. These people who are teaching, that those are the lands over there. Well, before that, they were pretty much using Constantinople as Jerusalem. So before you sit here and say that those people over there, or so that land over there is our land, why wasn't our land before 1948? Or were they considering the Holy Lands before that? And you'll be surprised because there's other places that they've considered Holy Lands over there as well that are not in the so-called Middle East as well. Okay. So as I said, it's just amazing how for the last 400, 500 years, these people can act like they didn't know anything about our plight. And when they were doing all these things to us, they didn't understand how bad things were for us. But you're going to take their word for the fact that over there is the Holy Land, right? These people lie about everything. Okay. So that's why you got to, you got to make sure you have everything in context. Because sometimes when these people are talking about these holy cities, they're talking about these holy cities that they had set up over there. And we just take it different. we just assume that everyone's going to agree that the holy city is Jerusalem of the Most High chosen people, but they did not believe that at that time. Okay, so I hope that helps to bring more knowledge and understanding of their mindset over in the three parts. They knew they were not going to have access to the Most High's chosen lands, so then therefore they were going to go ahead and make up lands of their own. And not until they got over here, Most High let them come over here, do they get exposed to our lands, the names, and everything else. And you just attributing a lot of our information here to over there in the three parts. There's a lot more coming, brethren. This is just the beginning. All praises to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who is wisdom, who is Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.